Hey there, Drew here, and welcome back to the Drew Saur coaching channel. This is your first time here, thanks for joining us. This channel is for those of us who want to have stellar careers with a little less stress and, if we can, a bit more fun. My job is to bring you ideas that'll help you look at your career in a new way. I promise that if you try them out, you'll start to see the professional world differently. And more importantly, they'll start to see you differently. So this video is part of my series on persuasive storytelling, because ultimately, to get anything done, we need other people. And so the question we're trying to answer is, can I convince other people to join me? And what I want to talk about today is an easier way to get your voice heard. Now myself, I have a bit of an introvert streak. I don't like confrontation. At the same time, I need to be able to sort of have my voice heard and get involved in the conversation. And this is, I found, a very common thing, particularly in the technology industries, but overall where people sometimes get uncomfortable in terms of getting their voice heard in a meeting or in a more broader forum where there's a lot of voices. And so how do you actually get into doing that without creating confrontation, without getting kind of on the wrong side of people, that kind of thing? And what I want to suggest to you is the easiest way to do that is to take the opinion that you have and simply turn it into a question, because it opens up the conversations and allows you to get in smoothly without necessarily directly confronting people that you may or may not be comfortable doing. So how does this work? So the idea is somebody comes up and we're talking about the strategy as an example, and somebody thinks we should sort of deploy in the next month. We got a new product. You know, the question is, okay, is it ready yet? Is it not ready yet? Which direction should we go? And somebody goes, no, we should definitely do it. We should definitely put it out in the next month. And your immediate thought is, no way, that's ridiculous. You know, the quality isn't right. It's going to break all the scripts for our clients. You know, something's going to go wrong. The clients are going to hate it. And you want to bring that up, but you're not quite sure how. So the idea is simply turn it into a question. And you can sort of preface it with, you've been thinking about this, and then ask their opinion and say, okay, so if we launch, I mean, I've been thinking a lot about, you know, the impact on customers. And I'm curious, how do you think this will go over with them? And so you basically take the idea that you're concerned about, whether it's risk or quality or customer sat or something, and you ask them, what do they think about that? And they will generally answer that question. And that gives you the opening to say, okay, that's interesting. Or, you know, that's a different perspective. What I was actually thinking is that this is going to do Y. It's going to break all their scripts. It's going to cause a lot of operational issues. Here is my concern, right? But rather than simply raising your hand and saying, I have a concern with what you just said, you can make it a little bit softer by first asking a question, right? And so this is one of the things, if you ask a question, now we're in a conversation, which is a much easier way to then insert your opinion. So what happens if you don't do this? And again, this video is more for people who have experienced this problem. Some people have no problem sharing their opinion. They have no problem just going out and doing it. So again, this video is for those of us who sometimes get a little uncomfortable. And so what do you do in those uncomfortable situations? And if you don't do this, there's typically two things that'll happen. One, you just won't say it, right? You'll miss the opportunity because you're too uncomfortable and you don't feel confident enough to actually raise your opinion. The second thing that happens is you raise it too directly, which is probably what you'd be worried about in the first place, which is somebody says, oh, I think we should go. And you say, I don't think we should go. I think this is the issue. And then now it's a confrontation. And unfortunately what happens is, while everybody says, attack the ideas, not the person, we're all tied to our ideas. And so the risk there is it sort of becomes a bit of a popularity contest where people end up sort of siding with the person they think is more important, the person that they like more. Somehow it becomes personal. Despite all the corporate slogans that says it shouldn't be that way, human psychology means it tends to go that way. So that's the other thing. Either you won't say anything, or you do risk that more confrontational aspect, which can have some downside depending on how it comes out. So again, the idea, don't confront directly. First ask the question that starts the conversation. So I've been thinking about the topic that I'm worried about. What do you think will happen related to quality? What do you think will happen related to the budget? What do you think will happen? Let them answer. And then that's a natural point in the conversation where you can add in your specific opinion. So that's it. What's the exercise? Try it out. Right? So next time you're feeling like you want to add something to the conversation, but there's some resistance, you just don't have the confidence, you're not sure it's the right thing, phrase it in the form of a question. Right? Make your opinion I do recommend that you start with, I've been thinking about this a lot. I have some thoughts on the subject, but first I'm curious, what do you think? Because that tells people that you have thought about it, that you have an opinion, so they will expect that after that individual answers the question, you will provide your opinion. So that's the idea. Try it out. Let me know in the comments how it goes. And as always, having a seller career takes a lot of work. It's a journey, and it helps to have a partner. So if this has been helpful and you're interested in working with me on a more permanent basis, feel free to go to drewsaur.com and we can set up some time to talk. I look forward to talking to you next time.